Hey guys, Frank here. I'm just making a quick video on a brake kit install from A&F Racing. A&F Racing, the brake cooling kit comes with this backing plate, so I'm going to show how to install that right now. So first thing you want to do is jack up your car, remove the wheel, obviously. Next, you want to remove the brake caliper and the rotor. The brake caliper has two 21mm bolts on the back. Remove that and put the brake caliper to the side. Make sure it's not hanging so that the brake line gets damaged. After that, you will need to remove the tie rod, which is an 18mm. Make sure if you're gonna hit this with like a mallet or a hammer, make sure if it's not a mallet, put like a piece of wood or something to protect the threads. Also leave this nut kind of threaded all the way up so it's kind of flat, or just use a tie rod puller. It's way easier. Once you remove the tie rod, the knuckle is free to spin. You need to remove the 21mm bolt or nut here for the ball joint. Once you remove that, you will need a tie rod puller again so that it can wiggle up and down. Sorry. Next, you will need a Torx T55 bit to remove the actual hub from the knuckle. So I have it removed. So you need to remove these bolts, T55. It's super simple. Just the two up here are really accessible. The bottom one you just need to lift up a little bit and you can get it in and remove. So let me install the backing plate. Okay, so here's the backing plate installed and the hub back on. So make sure you put the wire how it was and torque these 3 bolts down to 96 foot-pounds, and also put a thread locker on the threads just to make sure it doesn't come loose. Let me continue the process. So for this bolt on the bottom, since it's kind of loose, you will need an Allen key and a 21mm wrench. If you do not have a 21mm wrench, 7/8 works well as well. So let me just show you quickly how you can do this. So you just put a key in the middle and you put your wrench like that and just twist it, hold the Allen key and just twist it. So the torque for this is 52 foot-pounds. So let me continue the process. Okay, so the torque spec for the tie rod is, it goes in 2 passes. So the first pass is 15 foot-pounds just to seat the nut. Then you have to spin the nut 160 degrees, and then your final pass is 33 foot-pounds. All right, so this is a few days later. I forgot to record the videos while I was working on the car, so I'm just gonna do a small recap video now that I'm done. So as you can see, I have the rotor back on and the brake caliper back on. Make sure to torque both brake caliper bolts to 125 foot-pounds. Also make sure to use a Loctite thread lock on it. I use the blue one, which is a medium strength Loctite. I also zip tied the speed sensor wire to the knuckle, as you can see. I don't want that wire moving around and getting damaged while I'm driving. So moving on to the brake duct, which is kind of a pain in the butt just because it's tedious. You will have to cut both the new duct and the old duct in order to fit this kit. You will also have to cut the fender liner for it to fit. So just take your time cutting the ducts. Make sure you don't rush it and make sure you don't cut too much off the duct. Just cut a little bit at a time, reinstall it. If it doesn't fit, take it off and adjust it. Once you have it fitting or to your liking, you will then screw the self-tapping screw that they provided through the bottom of both ducts to secure it in place. So this is what the ducts look like. Moving on to the actual mounting of the duct to the frame. In the instructions, it says you will have to mount it in line with the upper control arm bolt with the first one. I did not do that because of a clearance issue, so I mounted mine a little bit more in, just because I'm running wider rims and tires, so I had a clearance issue when I had it mounted in line with the upper control arm bolt. Also, make sure when you are installing this or screwing this in that you have it right above the weld of the frame. So as you can see, there's like a little notch there. Make sure you keep it as close as you can to that weld in order for it to clearance your wheels, especially if you're running a smaller diameter wheel or wider wheels or tires like I am. You will rub, so make sure you keep that screw nice and close to that weld. As you can see, you will put the screw and washer on the upper tab, and then you will put your remaining screw and washer in the center of the brake duct. I will show a picture of that right now. Okay. Moving on to the hose. The hose, for the hose length, you will turn your wheel at full lock depending on which side of the car you're working on. If you're working on the passenger side, you will turn your wheel full lock all the way to the right. If you're working on the driver's side, you will turn your wheel full lock to the left. Using a tape measure or just the hose, you will measure the length of the hose needed, and then you will give it an extra inch, just so it has excess hose. And then if it's too much hose, you can simply cut it off. It's better to have more than less. So you will put, like I said, you will put the hose or the tape measure right next to the brake duct and the backing plate and measure your length of the hose there. I also put on the hose clamps with the screws facing in, as you can see. I did that simply for clearance issue again, just to have more clearance on the wheels. And that's basically it. I tried on my Z06 rear wheels, which are 18-inch by 10.5 wide, mounted on a Federal 275, which comes out to being like a 285, 295 tire, and it clears perfectly well. It does not rub on the duct, and it clears the actual coupler of the duct with about like a 1/4 inch of clearance, which is cool. I also tried on my 315 Hoosiers, also mounted on a 10.5 wide rim, so it has the same, it still clears the same here, but it has enough clearance on the brake duct, which is nice, but I do think it's going to rub potentially later on. But if it does rub, you can simply just put a piece of tape where it rubs, and that should seal it up fairly well. So I can insert a few pictures of the clearance, and then I will insert a few more pictures at the end of this video. So if you have any questions about this kit or anything, just go ahead and simply drop a comment below. Hopefully I'll be able to answer it. And then I will be going to the track this weekend, so I will keep you guys posted on how this kit performs, if I had any hiccups or anything or stuff like that. So I will put all that information in the description. So thanks again for watching, and take care.